might disagree with me, but
It's a very intriguing one because both teams
Colorado has nothing to lose. They're going to go in there and just balls to the wall.
both
And
teams
Vegas doesn't have
yeah.
a lot of experience. I mean, Fleury does, but I mean...
Well, both teams are, for lack of a better term, new to the playoff scene for the last few years anyhow.
Yep.
So it's kind of like, who knows what they'll bring. Both those teams could be cup contenders. They could, one of them
They always say, like, the teams to be scared of in the playoffs are the ones you don't
know anything about.
Yeah. Like New Jersey, they got all these kids in Taylor Hall, and they got a pretty good goalie in Corey Schneider.
Yep.
So then you look at, you take them too lightly, you'll get beat. Any team.
Then that's why new teams usually get by.
Yeah. I mean, at the same...
You can't count out the mainstays like the Lightning or...
No, you can't.
Like Penguins too, I guess.
No, for sure.
No, you can't. You can't bet against the Penguins, but...
No.
With Matt Murray out, though.
But Florida's another...
Oh, Matt Murray could be back this week.
Could be.
I was reading.
Yeah.
So.
But who knows?
Yep.
I want to see Pittsburgh and Philly. I think I've said this on the show before, but as of now, they're lined up to play each other.
That'd be nice.
Pittsburgh and Philly.
Oh.
I'd love to see that series.
Yep.
There'd be a lot of hate. There'd be a lot of, I don't know. It'd be good. I think Pittsburgh would come up on top, but it's going to come down to goalie, I think, like goaltending. If Murray stays, healthy. But.
Kind of a, off-topic question, but it's been a couple years now with the new divisions and new playoff round style. What's your guys' thoughts on the way the divisions are? You got to battle out of your division. They got a lot of backlash when it got...
and I was one of those guys that was a little... I don't know about this, because I'm not big on change in hockey. Like, I like, more old school, like the same.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, I kind of like this, actually. I kind of like it. You're a little more still... You'd rather be back?
Well, it just seems like... The Anaheim's always been kind of the... Well... Just thinking, like, Calgary or Edmonton. Seems like they always run into Anaheim.
And they can't beat them yet.
So then it's like, you learn to hate Anaheim.
Yeah.
But go back to the 1980s. Calgary always ran into Edmonton. It was the same. It was a similar playoff style.
Yeah, well, it was kind of a similar style.
Calgary always ran into Edmonton.
I think what they're just trying to create rivals.
Yeah.
You play the same teams every year.
Create good television.
But at the same time, like Scott says, you run into a team you can never beat.
A while. Plus, I mean, who doesn't like, okay, rivalries are good.
Yeah.
But seeing two different teams play against each other, I think it's...
Well, how do you build rivalries with somebody else if you never play them? Right?
That's true, yeah.
I mean, even like Toronto and Boston, the last time in 2013, I believe that was...
Maybe the second time, maybe?
That was the first time in a long... Like, that's probably the first time in probably over 30 years or close to 40 years that Toronto played Boston. It was nice to see.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I don't like Boston, but I like playing them. Like, right?
It's kind of weird, we're talking teams always play each other. Go back to the mid-2000s. Toronto always played Ottawa. And then they played Philadelphia.
Which is weird because there's a 1 through 8 seeding.
Yeah.
And we still managed to be... It just happens we always were in seeded the same.
Yeah. Seemed like Edmonton always ran into...
The Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas.
Yeah.
And Calgary ran into Vancouver a few times.
And Colorado always ran into Minnesota. It's kind of weird.
Now you start thinking, like, this is... Well, how many times has the Rangers run into Washington even before this setup? Every freaking year. And Washington...
Yeah.
I believe Washington loses every time.
No, Washington would
they
always
just win and then they lose to Pittsburgh.
they'd win 2/3 of the time, then they run into Pittsburgh. Yeah.
But, so I guess regardless of what system, it just
seems like the same teams make the playoffs. That's probably what happens.
Yeah. Well, just the teams always fell in line. Like Toronto, Ottawa was always 4-5, and then New Jersey, Philadelphia were always 2 and 6, or however it worked, right? And then,
No, it's. I heard somewhere that there's been talk maybe letting more teams make the playoffs.
That's what I've heard.
20 teams make the playoffs,
20
or 18
playoffs.
or something. More, and I'm thinking, well, might as well just let everybody make the playoffs then. Skip the season, you know. But
so
I heard the top 4 teams possibly. This is all just rumors, and this could be from a fan for all I know. But the top 4 teams get to pick who they play out of the bottom 4. So say Tampa goes and they they're the best team in the East. Okay, you get first dibs on the worst team in the whatever team you want in the East. And instead of like, oh, we always have Florida's number. We'll pick Florida.
Yeah.
Right? Even though they don't line up that way. Say Toronto they're the third team in the best team in the East. They go, well, you know what? I'd love to play this team. I think that'd be weird. Because then what's the point of doing the season? You don't line up then.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
okay, the point of the season would be you get to be in the top 4,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't seed. There's no seeding then. Really.
Yeah.
There's not really seeding.
But I don't know how...
That'd be weird.
Because it would be 10 teams on each side. So then
Well, I'm not saying it's 20. It could be 18.
I've heard 20.
But 20 wouldn't make any sense.
So you...
Neither would 18. 18 would be 9 on each side.
Yeah, that's right.
So 20, they would go 10 on each side, then 5, and then...
Yeah, but then there'd be one team by then, or something.
Something.
No, it can't be.
No. Stick with 16.
No.
So, like...
I don't think
you
there
have
would be.
more
That'll happen.
teams. Do you take the amount of games, more games out of the series? Like, out of 5? You know what I'm saying?
I don't...
Or
What if it ends...
It seemed like it'd be like a long...
Oh, yeah. It would have to be like
playoff
baseball.
season.
It almost have to be like baseball.
With 2-3-2?
Yeah. No, like...
The first series
Oh,
is
first series
best
is...
of 5.
Yeah, and
5,
then...
7.
And the next one is... I think it's 7.
Or maybe
And 7.
maybe you do it like the baseball. The wild cards have a one-off game. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, this is just all stuff I've read and heard, and from
Yeah.
it could be from a homeless guy down the street. I really don't know, but
Where do you get your sources?
yeah, I'm just bringing something to the table just to
Yeah.
talk about. But yeah, it's
Yeah, I'm not sure how that would work, but it'd be neat. I think the best.
it's neat to think, but I don't think I would want it.
No.
That's just me. But
Yeah, no. It's too many.
Yeah. I mean, it would be neat to see a wild card though. Like when you watch baseball, and there's a one-off game and it's single elimination.
Yeah.
And
but man, just a season's so long to lose with a single game. Like, you gotta,
Hey, you think
I
like,
know.
baseball season? Like,
Yeah.
what,
Yeah,
100
twice
some-
as long.
yeah, I think was it 162 or something like that? Yeah,
almost twice as long.
yeah, it's.
Mind you, they're not as tough as hockey players, so.
And let's be honest,
Well,
they stand around a lot more.
Yeah.
well, it's not a contact sport.
No,
Hockey's
that's
a
true.
contact sport.
Well, I don't know. I've seen some of their fights. It gets a little out of hand.
Well, yeah.
It's crazy. Baseball fights are crazy, but
Just a bunch of guys jumping up.
yeah, it's got
There's like 2 guys fighting, and the rest of the guys are just out there to pull them
dog
apart.
pile.
It's like a mosh pit and a bunch of guys throwing punches.
But
Unless you touch Adrian Beltre's head.
Well, I guess I read an interesting fact. I think it doesn't matter when it was, but as of now, first season since 66, 67, where no coaches have been fired in the regular season.
So
And-
far.
and-
There's 10 games left, so they probably won't.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's safe to say nobody's going to get let go.
Yeah.
But even is it because, like, lack of a better word, the crappy teams, Arizona, Buffalo, Montreal, who else did I say was out? Vancouver. Well, let's be honest. Vancouver, what is this? Travis Green's first year?
Yep.
They usually don't fire in your first year. Phil Housley, what is this? First year? Usually don't fire in your first year.
There's one team that
Well,
does.
there was talk about
Yeah, and Rick Tocchet.
Yeah.
And Claude Julien. This is his first year back. So you're not really going to fire them on their first year. I mean, they said Bendar from Colorado.
Yeah, they want him out of town.
I heard Ray Ferraro say tonight that, like, he went from
Dog
Colorado
house-
had 48 points, and
Doghouse to the penthouse.
they wanted him out to, now they're buying into a system. I mean,
I think you could blame it on Matt Duchene. I don't know if you can blame it on just him, but I think the room had a bad vibes just because he didn't want to be there.
yeah, not even the guy. It could just be he didn't want to be there, and that kind of rubs off on everybody. But
It does. You have you have somebody who has a bad attitude grows pretty good.
But going back to the coaching, like, I don't know, that's kind of weird, yeah, because it seemed like every year there's so many coaches being fired, and then now Scott pointed out tonight to me that now there's none. It's like, whoa. I never thought of it, actually.
But think about it. 60. What do you say? 66, 67?
Yep.
Isn't that when the league expanded?
Yeah.
So since the expansion from 6 teams
to 12, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one guy is gone every year. It's crazy.
At least one guy, yeah.
At least, yeah.
And it seems like it's more than one guy. I mean, speaking of coaches being fired, do you guys think any are going to be fired this offseason? Jump into that topic. I mean, do you think Todd McClellan? I only throw him out because they underachieved big time? Or is it kind of like, we'll give him another year? And
I think one more year for sure.
Yeah. I think he should have another year too.
I think
a lot of guys would want him and Shirley out. I think give him a year and see what happens, because you kind of scratch your head because now the Oilers are playing, to be honest, they're playing really good hockey now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing to lose, so I guess no pressure, but they're playing almost like they should have the first half.
Yep.
They have been. I mean, they're beating teams, and but yeah, I don't know any other coaches that are on the hot seat really. Like Coach Q,
I've heard Quenneville.
he sounds like he might be gone. And that's not because he's a terrible coach. I think it's just he's been there too long, so it needs a fresh voice in the room. It's like Babcock with Detroit, right?
But it's like,
I think he's starting to get, I like to call it
stale.
I like to call it Ken Hitchcock syndrome.
Yeah.
Because you get it's so used to that guy's voice, and then
stale, like it's stale in the room. It's the same guy yelling at you for the same. Got to think Taves and Kane have been there the whole time. Seabrook, Keith, Crawford. Most of those guys have been there the whole time.
Yeah.
So they're probably just like, just be quiet already. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, it can't be argued. Their team has gotten worse, though.
Their team has, yeah. You think their team has? Or there hasn't?
They're not... I don't think all the blame this season can be pinned on Coach Q.
I would totally agree.
Yeah.
I would totally agree, yes.
So...
I mean, I thought the GM has made some questionable moves even. Yeah. But...
So if they're going to do... Oh, man. I don't know. If Coach Q gets let go, he's going to get picked up.
Well, like I said, there might be teams firing their coaches to get him.
Yeah.
Because he's arguably the best coach in the league. With a couple other names, but he's definitely...
But you think of it as free agent day comes up, and, for lack of a better term, a John Tavares comes into free agency, you're moving a roster spot to clear for him. That's maybe what some coaches or teams are thinking. Yeah. All right, I'm going to move my coach. He's having a lackluster year anyhow.
Do you guys see any team that would just drop just to get...
Well, you could look at... I wouldn't let your list here. I wouldn't say Green. I wouldn't say Julian.
I wouldn't say anybody that in the bottom. But, I mean, I'm trying to think of any other medium teams that maybe underachieved.
Do you think...
Ottawa? Probably not. They probably keep their coach, I think.
They want somebody gone. But I don't think it's their coach.
No, I think it's their owner. But I don't know.
But stuff like that, you big fish in the open market, right? You're going to maybe make a move that might pay off.
And like you said, it's probably not because his coaching's terrible. Probably just, need a fresh voice in the room. And I'm not saying that'll turn it right around or anything, but it'll just make it... They might play harder because it's a different coach. And it's weird how that works, but...
Yep. Move one piece like that, if it's a player or coach.
And it's whatever. Like, what was Babcock, 8 or 9 years or more in Detroit? And it wasn't because he was a bad coach. It was just they were ready to... And I think he was ready to move on too.
I think it was his choice, I believe.
Yeah, and he wanted Detroit. I think he wanted to try somewhere else.
I think he wanted a challenge, honestly. Right. I think he's won...
and
I just got news here that Chicago Blackhawks will not be involved in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Oh. So they got officially eliminated.
Officially eliminated. Breaking news, everybody.
Not that too.
I thought you were going to say, speaking of the topic, Coach Q has just been fired.
But speaking of that, they just missed the playoffs.
Yeah, so we were just talking about that's kind of funny how that works. But but
I don't see any of the coaches getting let go.
Got anything else there, Scott, to add?
Well, I just, I guess in Vegas, somebody threw a pink flamingo. Fake one, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
On the ice, so... I wonder if that'll be their kind of tradition. I don't know.
It sparks the question.